Hey guys, how are you guys doing today? Alright, so as you guys all know, I was trying to develop this whole prophetic fam thing because I'm not out here trying to have a competition with anybody. Like, as a matter of fact, when I did my first XRP video, I literally just uploaded it. I just thought it was gonna get 100 views, that's it. And I just wanted to show the world maybe if God was showing me this XRP dream, maybe I was supposed to upload this video and show everybody what it was about. So that's what I did, you know. I was trying to show everybody it going to $7, and so I had no intentions of doing a second video or anything like that, or even having a channel on crypto and spirituality or anything like that, until some people started asking me if I was going to do more videos, and I had no clue what other video I was going to do, but I did remember that I had a Bitcoin dream. So that's something that I want to talk to you guys about later. Well, actually, I'll touch up on it now that I mentioned it. Yeah, so I did have a Bitcoin dream, and it was robots selling Bitcoin in the future. I went into explanation and more details about what happened in the dream. But yeah, it's pretty much just robots selling Bitcoin in the future. So I don't really know what that means. Maybe in the description, well, maybe in the comment section below, you guys could tell me what you think robots selling Bitcoin would mean. But that was around my second video. And around my second video, I also predicted the 2021 bull run, you know. So I was like, okay, on these dates, I believe it was July 21st, I'm crypto's going to start going up. So I pretty much called the bottom, called the 2021 bull run, and I'm like, hey, you know, it seems like it's 2017 all over again, and it seems it feels as if there's, you know, there's going to be a bull run coming, and if that happens, then around November, December is going to be the top. And then it could start crashing again, you know, like it did in 2018, you know, and that was my prediction. So every time I have thoughts in my mind, to me, I labeled those as theories. There's a lot of other people saying oh, they heard this from God, or they saw a vision. They call it visions, or they call it, you know, they heard this from God, or it's a prophetic word from God. But to me, I just listed it as a theory, you know. Because I don't know if it's my own thoughts, or I don't know if it's God, you know, if it's during the day. But at nighttime, yes, during my dreams, I will label that as a prophecy, a prophetic dream, because it's during the night. I want to trust the dreams more than you know, the waking state. So, and you know, it's no problem, you know, people wanting to consider things like a prophetic word, or you know, they got a vision. But the thing is, the way that I think, I thought a lot of people thought like this, but the way that I think is that all my thoughts are in images. Don't you guys think in images, or is it just me? Every single thought is an image. And my brain works like a giant movie. So I don't know if other people think in words, or if you guys think in images, let me know. But I just thought that's how everybody worked. But so I did get 15, 20 theories right already, but those could have been prophecies for all I know. I just listed them as theories. And but dreams coming to pass, I've had 4 dreams come to pass, 3 just within the last year. And now they're really ramping up, because I have had 2 prophecies come true since September 22nd. I got the September 22nd dream correct. And the thing about that is the September 22nd, right on September 22nd, when I got that prophecy right, I heard God say 10 days, which would have been September 22nd. And that's when XRP went up 30%. And ever since I had that dream on September 12th, XRP started going up. I heard the voice, literally the voice of God. It was this authoritative, I don't know, man, I don't know, I wouldn't really say manly voice, but it was this masculine voice, or neutral masculine, you know. So I sounded like the voice of God. It was the first time I ever had a dream like that. So I feel as I evolve in my life, my dreams start to evolve as well. That's going to be the next video, more evolved dream that I had recently, about like 3 nights ago. So yeah, so when I got that prophecy right on 9/22, I was like, holy crap, like I was excited just because it was confirmation that I really am a prophet, because that was the 4th prophecy that was correct, but the first crypto prophecy that was correct. And I'm like, yes, it's confirmed. Yeah, I'm definitely a prophet of God. So I knew that this was my purpose. And I know a lot of you guys know, like, there's a lot of people out there that if they don't know their purpose, oh my gosh, it could drive you crazy. So it was like a relief to finally know my purpose in life. So I was just like ecstatic. Yeah, so everything that I do it for God. I have not made a single penny from what I do. Nothing wrong with people giving donations. I'm just not at that place yet, to receive any donations. But as a matter of fact, my grandpa, he got a PhD in Bible, and that's how he made his entire living. He was a pastor. He got a PhD in Bible, so he was a doctor, considered a doctor, and that's how he paid for his house, his schooling. He took care of his wife and his 4 kids. So he did a lot of ministries in Hawaii. Hawaii was big for my grandpa's ministry, and he wrote books. So my grandpa is a Christian author. He wrote so many books. I have no clue how many books. Over 100 Christian books. So I do come from a Christian family. I went to 6 years of Awanas. So 6 years of Awanas, I studied Bible. I memorized the Bible verses for 6 years. So I know a lot of verses. So sometimes when I do my videos, I'll quote some verses just from memory, And I was on the Bible quiz team as well. So that means I was top 3 of my class. And yeah, so which means 3 of us really took it seriously, and the other kids didn't really take it as seriously. But yeah, Awanas was a lot of fun. And my Nana always said, it was crazy. My Nana always said, she was like, one day memorizing these Bible verses is going to come in handy. You're going to use this in your future and probably in the last days. And I'm like, yeah, it's cool. Like, I can memorize all 66 books of the Bible right now, but I would have to do that in another video. I don't want to waste your time right now. And I haven't said it out loud in like 2 years, so I don't want to like struggle here a little bit on camera. But yeah, my Nana always said that I was, that it was going to come in handy. And I guess apparently, yeah, I'm a prophet. Like, little did I know, I was like a prophet. I grew up, I had dreams my entire life, ever since I was 7 years old. I still remember my very first dream in vivid detail. And yeah, I was swinging from chandeliers and stuff. So I had no clue. Like, when I'm 7, I'm like, I have no clue what swinging from chandeliers means. Unless it means I'm going to, like, be rich one day. Like, maybe from crypto. So, yeah, so my Nana always said I was going to put me memorizing verses to good use. And yeah, it's coming in handy now, because now I'm doing spiritual teachings as well. So I talk about crypto, wisdom, spiritual teachings, and then my prophetic dreams. So it's exciting to finally like start my purpose in life. And my Nana was right about that. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And yeah, so something that I want to mention, I should have mentioned this in the beginning of the video, but I wanted to say, the first thing I want to talk about is how tattoos and piercings are okay. I know like some people like are weird about it, but yeah, tattoos and piercings. So in the Bible, the people who used to like get piercings back in the day, like 2,000 years ago, or they would get tattoos, they would do it as they're worshiping other gods. So they're like getting this tattoo to worship other gods. They're getting piercings to worship other gods. And in today's day, I don't know anybody who does that. In today's day, nobody does that. Virtually, like, almost nobody does that. I don't know anybody who does that. So probably 99.9999% of people aren't worshiping other gods when they're getting tattoos and piercings. So that means that in today's world, it's definitely okay, because God knows the intention of the heart. If it was wrong, why would God still be giving me like prophecies, right? So I just wanted to touch up on the tattoos and piercings things. It is okay, as long as you're not trying to like, do it because you're like hurting and you're in pain and you're trying to like heal your pain, or the biggest thing is as long as you're not worshiping other gods, right? So that was very important for me to touch up on that. I do want to go over and say that I'm a broken neck survivor. So yes, I did BMX for 17 years until the age of 25 years old. When I was 25, it was the season opener. It was going to be my last year racing before I went into before I started training for the Olympics. I've been wanting to do the Olympics since I was 14 years old, and I had potential. And, I had already got 3 major sponsorships, and I went to Vegas, and I was like, all right, no excuses. I felt like, all right, I'm not prepared. I'm not 100% prepared, but all right, no excuses. I got to go there and just race. I'm going to schedule all these races for the year, and no matter what, I'm going to race, whether I'm ready or not. I didn't want to have any excuses that year, and the front of my bike was too light. I wasn't used to like a lighter front end. I was excited that the skills like were a lot better. Like my skills were like at the professional level, and where I could double manual and pick up double manual, jump 6 packs, jump 25 feet and all that. And then I just broke my neck. So after breaking my neck, that's kind of when that's pretty much when I went through my spiritual awakening. When I started studying, researching 4, 6, 8 hours a day for the last 8 years. So I've been studying for 8 years, so I'm pretty much ready to start my spiritual teachings because 8 years of study, I think I'm prepared. I probably could have started way earlier, but I thought like, oh, maybe I'm not ready. But as God keeps telling me, no more excuses. I'm ready. I have 8 years of study. That's pretty much, if I did that part-time, so that's pretty much like a master's degree in all the research I've done over the years. All right, so broken neck survivor. I had the school to C1. I broke my C1, so I had the school to C5 neck surgery. So I have like bolts in my neck and wires and screws and all of that. I could have been paralyzed. I could have died. So literally God saved my life, and I believe it is for times such as now, for the wealth transfer and for the end times, for the end of this world, and we'll be entering into a new world. That's pretty much what's happening right now. And just like the rapture is essentially third density beings evolving into the fourth density. And to evolve into the fourth density is essentially just realizing your oneness with God, oneness with other people, and it's about love and oneness. So just knowing, opening your heart chakra and realizing your oneness with God, and that's how you could evolve and ascend. The rapture is pretty much the ascension of souls going into the fourth density. So, once you realize your oneness with God and oneness with others, then you could ascend and you won't be left behind into the, third density planet. So there literally will be a rapture of souls going into the new earth. And the third density souls will be left behind going into... Some people wonder if they're going into like hell, but if you stay in the third density realm and of the illusion of fear and separation, then that essentially is hell, right? If you believe that you're separate from God, then you could experience the hell in the mind if you believe, you're separate from God. And sometimes when, a lot of people, when they think that they're separate from God, they try to feel complete through worshiping other idols. And this idol worshiping is, people think that they got to get that Lamborghini, they got to get the mansion, they got to get the jet, they got to get rich, they got to drink alcohol, they got to get that girlfriend, they got to get that boyfriend. If you try to look through all these other things to make you feel complete, that's the illusion of separation. Is because you're under the illusion that you feel like you're separate from God. And that's the sin of the world, worshiping all these other idols and believing that you're separate from God, when really you are one with God. If you realize your oneness with God, you're going to feel that completion in your mind and in your heart and in your soul. And once you experience that oneness with God, then you will evolve and ascend into the fourth density consciousness. And that is more like a heaven-like state when we evolve into the fourth density. That's essentially where heaven is. And that's where Jesus came down from, the fourth density consciousness. So he came down from the fourth density realm into the third density to teach humanity about, the oneness with God. He was telling everybody how he is one with God. He said, I and the Father are one. And what I'm here to tell you guys is that, as a messenger of Jesus as well, I'm here to tell you guys that you could experience that oneness with God as well, just as Jesus experienced that oneness with God. All right, so I'm going to get into all of this other stuff. All right, so I talked to you guys before about these angels that surrounded me in this town. I just called out. I was like, God, help me. God, help me. And immediately, within a second, all these angels surrounded the town that I was in. And there's a leader of the angels, so I kind of got the sense or the vibe. I don't know 100% who this leader was, but it felt as if it could have been like Jesus, just some main leader of all the angels. And the leader was like around here. And all these angels, he brought his angels with him to surround this city. All I said was, God help me. And boom, they're there in an instant. And I'm not sure what color robes they were wearing, but they had their hoodies on. So I couldn't see, what their faces looked like. But these were like 20-foot tall angels, the size of like palm trees or light poles and stuff. And they just surrounded the city like a half a mile radius, or like, it almost looked like a village, like, town, probably a third of a mile radius. Who knows exactly how big that area was, but yeah, there's these huge angels, and they protected me. Like within a second, everything was fine. They came, and no matter where I went in the world, if I was in Mexico, then they would be there. They would be there in an instant in Mexico. And then another, scene in the dream. Then it went to another scene, and then there was another place. And sometimes, Jesus, or the leader of the angels, would come. Sometimes with his angels, but sometimes not. When he brought his angels with, they were 20-foot angels. But when he came alone, there was like an average height man, like a 6-foot man. And it looked like a human. I know exactly what he looked like, but I'm not going to disclose that information. Because one point in the dream, I was like, hey, that's Mr. Poole. And I'm not saying, like Mr. Poole is a supernatural being or anything like that. Who knows? Nobody knows what he looks like. But I saw what he looks like in the dream, so I'm not going to disclose that information and tell you guys what he looked like. And then when I was in the other country, say like Mexico, I got to Mexico and I heard that he was injured. So I went to his room. I wanted to make sure he was okay. I wanted to help him. And, he came through the window like Spider-Man would come through the window. And I just saw this huge cut across his neck. Sorry for the details, but huge cut across his neck. And I was like, oh my God. I felt bad. I wanted to like help him. I wanted to save him. And I But I knew he was going to be okay because it wasn't like a bunch of blood. You could see the cut across his neck, but it wasn't a bunch of blood. So I knew that he was going to be okay. So I knew that Jesus and his angels, they would come to my rescue at any moment, even if it meant that they would die for me, you know. So I am supernaturally protected. It was definitely a supernatural protection. Heaven's supernatural protection. I forgot to write it there. But yeah, so that was pretty awesome. So yeah, so I believe the whole Mr. Poole thing. So I did go on Twitter and I added Mr. Poole, but I believe that's separate from, you know, Jesus and his angels. But at the same time, I'm not going to put in my interpretations into the dream. So I'm just going to tell you exactly what I saw. It was just, I called out, I said it's Mr. Poole, even though it's like these supernatural beings. So who knows who knows what Mr. Poole's really like. But yeah, so as I told you on 9/22, Mr. Poole, I'm not sure if I touched on that yet, but Mr. Poole was like, she knows. So, and that's when I got my prophecy right. So if he was referring to me, then that would be pretty cool, right? I got my prophecy right. I heard God say 10 days, which would have been September 22nd, 2022. And that's when XRP shot up 30% in one day in a bear market, and no other coin shot up that day. It was only XRP. Like Bitcoin didn't even go up that day. So that's how you know for sure, like I heard from God. And there's 2 other dates that I heard, but I'm not going to go over those dates in this video yet. In a separate video, first I want to see if the prophecies fulfilled. But I already had 4 prophecies be fulfilled, you know. And this is the first time I've heard dates. So there's some prophets out there that got half their prophecies right, half wrong, and that's probably okay, you know. So anyways, so Mr. Poole said she knows on Twitter, and I don't know who she is, but if he was talking about me, that's pretty cool, and I'm honored. I'll probably show you guys that in another video. And the second date I heard was in October, and even David Shorts, you know, from XRP, from Ripple, he was saying that something's going to happen in October, and I'm like, holy crap, you know, I heard October too. Like, I'm not going to give the date in this video yet. I'll save that for another video. Yeah, and I told you guys how I thought I was only going to do 1 video, so I'm doing this for God. And I did announce that I'm going to be a billionaire prophet in the future. Yeah, I'm getting my money from God, from crypto. Like after the wealth transfer happens, all the investments that I did, I'm going to get all that money. And I'm still going to be a prophet of God, you know. Probably working for free because I'm a billionaire. Like I don't need to get donations from anybody. Like maybe, who knows, I don't know, maybe like my grandpa did it. That's how my grandpa made a living. So but don't worry, I'm not asking for any donations. Yeah, so another thing is I wanted to say is there's one. So once I went to church, and what they told me at church was, hey, you have prophecy and you have healing. So I started my prophecy journey. I haven't started my healing journey. I do have one story that I wonder if I did help somebody being healed once. It's very interesting. Oh, I got to tell you guys about it right now. Okay, so my grandpa had skin cancer, and they gave him 6 months to live. And he's going to chemotherapy and all that stuff, and he even had to have surgery. Oh, that's interesting. He had surgery, and he had the cut across his neck, and the cut across the neck was that person in the dream. That's interesting. I wonder if my grandpa's one of my angels. But yeah, so he was doing chemotherapy. They gave him 6 months to live, and he was right before he was going to go to a chemotherapy appointment. You know, little did I know this was going to be his last chemotherapy appointment. So before he went to his appointment, I prayed. I was like, God, you know, my grandpa has 6 months to live. I pray that you could just heal him right now. You know, just help my grandpa. Heal him, please. Amen. Little did I know he went to the doctor that day, and that was his last chemo appointment. He didn't need any more chemo appointments. He was fine. And he lived another 10 to 12 years after that. So, like, I don't know if I had any, like, part in that, but I just thought that was crazy when I found out that he didn't need any more chemo. So, anyways, yeah, so there was once, yeah, so I was told I have, prophecy and healing, and I'm developing my healing gifts more and more. That's something that I'm working on. But right now I'm mainly doing prophecy. And through prophecy, my spiritual teachings, yes, my spiritual teachings, telling you guys about the oneness of God is the greatest healing I think anybody could experience. It's healed my heart. Like, it's healed me. I was feeling, like, depressed and lost, and I was also trying to find my completion in other things, like relationships and stuff. And now, to this day, I'm single, and I'm happy as ever. I realize my oneness with God and all people. And when you realize that you were not separated from God, that separation is just an illusion. When you realize that oneness with God, that we are not separate, we are actually all one, then that is the peace of heaven enters your life. This bliss, this feeling of bliss, this feeling of completion, that everything you need is within you already. The kingdom of heaven is within you. And also, you could find completion in your mind just by knowing you're one with God. So that's the greatest message I want to give to the world, because once people realize that could bring the greatest amount of healing into this world, that's the message that Jesus was trying to bring to this world, showing people love, compassion, and oneness, because he was telling people about his oneness with God. But he didn't really convey that other people could experience oneness with God. But he did pray, in John 17:20 through 26, he was asking God that all of us could be one, just as him and the Father are one. So he's praying to God about it. He's praying for it. So I'm here to deliver the message and tell you guys, that message of salvation, just knowing your oneness with God. And that's the key that I found to salvation, to heaven, to, that oneness and that perfection of heaven and that oneness with God. And that's, now that's my completion. So, so, yeah, there's once a woman, another lady at church said she saw the hand of God upon me. I didn't really know what that meant at the time, but then I guess later I found out it meant protection and being anointed by God, that God would use me greatly in the future. And something that my dad said is, he said that when I was born, he got this feeling that God was going to use me in a big, powerful way in the future. He didn't know what, but he knew that God had a special mission for my life. And I believe that mission is starting right now. Right now, during this transfer of wealth and during the transition from the third density consciousness into the fourth density consciousness. Yeah, so the lady saw the hand of God on me, and there was once somebody was yelling at me, and apparently an angel appeared and, telepathically told her to stop yelling at me. And then she ended it with love and compassion. It was like, all right, well, I love you, but just, don't yell at her, because that's going to hurt, me. That's going to hurt my child, which she was referring to me. So I thought that was pretty cool that somebody actually saw my angel, my guardian angel, my, spirit guide or whatever. So, all right. Oh, yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I told you guys. And I also had a blackout dream. You guys know I've had 3 XRP dreams to $310, $7, and 10,000. So blackout dream. All right, so this is the main thing I just wanted to tell you guys, is how all these angels that surrounded the city, all I did was call out and say, God help me, and they were there in an instant. And I think another thing this means, and the importance of this, is you too, all you have to do is call out to God and say, God help me, and they will be there. Your angels are waiting for you. They're waiting to work for you. So all you have to do is call out and ask them for help and protection. And the greatest peace of mind and the greatest bliss and happiness I've ever experienced is, knowing and realizing my oneness with God. So I believe I'm already ascending and entering the fourth density consciousness. So that is the heaven on earth. That is the salvation story. So, all right, I just wanted to clarify that, and thank you guys for coming out, and I'll hang out with you guys soon. All right, see you guys later. Bye.